Cheesecake is great on its own, but wait until you add the raspberries and the fudge. Look at that. That's a dazzling dessert, a raspberry fudge cheesecake.
With the cheesecake, you want to make sure you use a springform pan, and I'll show you the reason why when we get to the end.
Do you have to spray this before you start the crust?
No, you usually don't have to. You could if you wanted to. And with the crust, we're taking chocolate wafer crumbs. Now you can buy some, chocolate graham cracker crumbs. You can use those chocolate cookies and then put them in your food processor.
With the icing in the middle of the cheesecake.
And if you absolutely can't find those, you can take the chocolate sandwich cookies apart and scrape off the icing.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's better to just buy the crumbs. Yeah. So we're going to put some butter, 3 tablespoons of melted butter in here. You want to make sure you get it all. And then we're adding 1/4 cup of sugar. So you're just going to kind of mix that up a little bit so that the butter kind of saturates where the crumbs are. And you'll see it kind of mixes pretty quickly.
It crummy, right?
Okay. And you can see it's beginning to take a little bit of a different texture than what it had. And then you're just going to put that in the bottom of your pan.
And this just covers. And when you bake this, it makes a nice firm base.
It makes a nice firm crust. Now, you can just use your hand. I'm kind of using a bag. You could also wrap your hand with some plastic wrap.
Some cellophane, okay.
And all you're going to do is just press it down and get it kind of even. You don't really need it coming up the sides. You just make sure it's completely covered.
This is just for taste purposes, because it is nice when you do have that kind of crust.
Now, you're going to bake this in a preheated 325-degree oven for about 8 to 10 minutes, and then you're going to cool it. Then, while you're doing that, you can go ahead and
bake it before you even start your... Okay.
In here we have 3 8-ounce packages of cream cheese, and I've whipped it a little bit so that it has some aeration in there and it's kind of mixed together.
So you want it fluffy to the point that it is fluffy.
Then we're going to add some sour cream. I think I probably better lift it for this. The eggs I'll just try to dump in. And this is, I think it's 3/4 of a cup of sour cream.
And this is not low-cal or anything like that.
No, Melanie, it's not.
Shebang, okay. Just wanted to make sure.
Then we'll just start mixing that together. And then we'll add our eggs one at a time.
You have 6 eggs. And you're using
let them
the
kind
whole
of mix.
egg.
And the reason is you want it to kind of mix together. You don't really want to dump it all in there, and then it's just a little harder to mix.
When you're cooking, do you get the extra large eggs, or you just get the standard?
Use the large.
Okay,
I just use the standard large. Most recipes are geared toward the large egg.
Okay.
Now, there's different types of cheesecake. This one has sour cream in it. You'll find some, if it's an Italian type cheesecake, they'll use ricotta. Sometimes you'll find more sugar added. Down south, I think you'll find your cheesecakes are just a tad sweeter than what they are up north. Then we're going to add 1 cup of sugar. This is just granulated sugar. And then you have a 1/4 teaspoon of almond extract and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract.
I love
smelling
vanilla.
It
smells wonderful.
Now, the other thing you want to do is scrape down your bowl, because you can see here there's a little bit of the cream cheese that's
you could make this
for the bowl. And then here's a little tip, so you don't get your hands dirty or another utensil. I just scrape this across my
your spatula?
Yeah, my spatula on my mixing bowl. So let me mix that just a little bit more.
What I was getting ready to say, you can make this for a diabetic. We have a number of diabetics in our house. If you use the sugar substitute and low-cal cream cheese, the low-cal sour cream, all those things help, when you are
this is the real
dealing
thing.
with diabetes, right.
Okay, now we're going to use that again in a minute. And but first, let's make our ganache. So this is really nice and chocolatey.
Is this milk or heavy cream?
This is heavy cream, and we put it in the microwave. You could do it on the range if you wanted. If you're on the range, you can put it on high, but you want to make sure you're standing there stirring it the whole time.
So you don't need a boiler?
No. This is 4 squares chopped up of semi-sweet chocolate. And what it'll do is, if the cream is warm enough, it'll make the chocolate melt. So you just have to stir it in.
Do you need to microwave that for a second?
I can feel it. So let me stick this in the microwave. Since this is a rubber spatula, I could actually leave it in
there. Now, what would you put this on in the microwave?
I'm just going to put it on 30 seconds and then power 5, because I don't really want it to overcook.
Okay.
And you can reheat that, but what we're going to do with that is we're going to pour it in the bottom and then add some raspberries. So you've got, chocolate,
layers,
raspberries, your cream cheese mixture.
Every bite's
more
a treat,
chocolate.
right? I understand. And you can do this with strawberries or blueberries. You know, if we love raspberries, and these look, the great thing about raspberries nowadays, they are great year-round. You can get the Chilean, raspberries.
Yeah, these are really pretty.
They're so sweet.
So you're just going to want to mix it until it's really fluid, and you can tell that it's together.
And you stir it.
You can use a wire whip, but I like a rubber spatula just because, it's.
And these spatulas don't melt or anything. No, they go up to, what, 500 degrees?
Yeah, 500 degrees, so you could use these on the range top, too, if you wanted to. Okay,
everybody loves a cheesecake. There a lot of people, that's their favorite dessert. Okay, because you always notice on a menu there's a New York cheesecake or some kind of cheesecake on a dessert menu.
We're just going to pour a little bit in the bottom. I want to make sure I save enough for the top. Okay. And I'm probably going to reheat that because I've still got some in the bottom, but this isn't.
Why don't I stir it while you're working on another level? How about that?
Well, and then we're just going to put some raspberries in the bottom. You could use other types of fruit. You could use sliced strawberries if you wanted.
I mentioned the blueberries, too.
Oh, yeah, blueberries. I was busy looking at my
I love
stuff.
blueberries.
So, okay,
blueberries are good for you, too.
We're going to go ahead and take
your filling.
Our filling and pour this in.
Yum, yum.
And always make sure you get the absolute last drop.
And the spring pan bowl, or pan, does this just help you release whenever you're letting it go?
It's going to help us release. Now we're going to put this on a cookie sheet because sometimes you might get a little bit of leakage or the oil from your crust.
And you have water under here.
I have water under here to keep a little bit of moisture in the oven, so it keeps it from cracking. Oh, okay. Now, you bake that for about an hour and a quarter to an hour and a half, and then turn the oven off and leave it in the oven. That also helps prevent cracking.
And you leave it in the oven for an hour so it will cool slowly?
Yes, the pan and leaving it in the oven afterward. And I don't know if you could see.
Maybe turn around that way so they can see it.
I released the pan so that, that's what the springform pan is all about. It's tight, so it's holding your ingredients. You do that, and you just lift it up.
Now, I see this cookie crumb here on the bottom. Do you have a base underneath that?
Yes.
That's part of the pan. The bottom of the pan. Okay. I think that's mixed
So now, we were lucky because we didn't get any cracking. But if you get cracking in your cheesecake, that's frequently why people will add sour cream or a chocolate ganache on top. You can also use a thinned cream cheese mixture. Right. Because that covers up your crack. Okay. And sometimes you'll see the cheesecake webbing. We're just going to let that pool. I could put it around. But, to finish it off,
you're adding some raspberries. And are these mint leaves?
These are mint leaves. And you could just put a couple of raspberries and some mint leaves in here. Now, I probably would wait until my ganache hardened a little bit.
And if you missed any part of the ingredients, you can check out the recipe on the website and put your own flair to it, your own fruit.